Welcome everyone to Learnit Presents Excel today. We are on episode 2. Super excited to be here as always. I hope you enjoyed episode 1 last week. If you haven't checked that out yet, go ahead and look on our channel and you will see it there. So today we have a great topic for you. We're talking about Excel tips and tricks. But before we do that, we thought, you know what? Last week I shared that coffee mug. It was just so great. So I'm going to hand it over to Ben here to share his.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ben.
Well, one of the few ways that we can actually show some individual flair at the office, especially if you have an office that has a really tight dress code, is, small things like your shoes or, like a kerchief in your right here in your pocket. But another way is your coffee mug. And so I know at Learnit we do it a lot. So this is just mine today. It's the cat eye on one. Joe, which one do you have
I
today?
love it. I have today, I had to represent my son, so best daddy ever. And then I got a little picture of him. I love it.
Yeah. If you guys want to let us know in the chat just how you individualize yourself at the office, I know for myself, another thing I did was I wore a certain type of shoe, the same type, but I had multiple colors of it to kind of switch it up. If you guys just want to let us know in the chat what that is, that'd be great. And then, Joe, you want to kick into the big news segment for this week, or from
Oh,
last week?
yeah. Yeah. Last week. So what's new last week in our tech world is Microsoft actually announced for their 2021 Office. So Microsoft Office 2021 is going to be released later this year, and it's going to be supported for the next 5 years. We're going to be running it out for Microsoft for PC, 64 gig, 32 gig. Also, we're doing MacBook, of course. So super excited to kind of take that on and learn about it because who knows what they're going to have. I mean, Ben, what are your thoughts on that? I know that it's going to be the same, right? I mean, some of the look and feel for 2019 is definitely transitioning over. But what do you think?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, like for people who are using Office 365, they're not going to see much of a change. Most of the features and everything like that that they're bringing over are already available to Office 365 users. This is really going to affect you guys that have it on-prem or have your company like buys the licenses and then, you guys use it all on your computer, maybe not even having to be connected to the internet. So that's who's going to see the biggest difference there. But it also means that we got to create a lot more videos to put up on our channel as well. So you guys can look forward to, Excel to 2021, Outlook 2021. We'll get all those videos produced as soon as we get our hands on it ourselves. And Joe, you'll have to be making those.
Yes, yeah, I can't wait. No, I think my biggest thing that I'm excited for 2021's desktop version would be uh, the X lookup for Excel. I mean, that's just that feature in itself is so amazing. It replaces VLOOKUP, it replaces HLOOKUP. So if you've ever used those, you're gonna see the big improvements and how user friendly it is. I know right now I have it on 365 because they send all the updates here, but it's just great to see how they're kind of thinking forward for people that aren't so online to the cloud connected and they just want to definitely have it on prem. So yeah, super excited. Stay tuned to some of the new features. I'll be looking for those on the internet, and then I will announce them throughout some of the series. But yeah, go ahead, Ben. What do we have for us today?
Well, today we have Excel tips and tricks. Everyone, we did post the exercise file there in the chat. Joe is going to go through that exercise file and show you guys some new stuff and everything like that. And then any questions you guys have or anything like that, please drop them in the chat and we can answer them live here as well. And then just want to also remind everyone, like and subscribe to the channel, like this video, subscribe to the Learnit training channel. Also, big shout out to Chelsea again for doing the show last week. Go to her channel as well. Get her subscriptions, and then also another person that's done some videos for us on another channel is Candace Porter. She did the smart sheet one. Go out and like and subscribe her channel as well. We're all here to help you guys with all this great free training.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Ben, so much. All right, so I know that Chelsea's not here, and she did do so amazing last week. I mean, hopefully we'll be able to secure her for another episode sooner than later. With that said, I'm going to be your guest star. So I'm switching from my host to my guest star hat, right? And today we're going to be talking about some of my 5 top favorite tips and tricks in Excel. Now, I know they're not going to be the biggest tips and tricks. They're small tips and tricks, but I promise you it's going to save you so much time because even the littlest thing that can save you time is amazing when it comes to Excel. So with that said, I'm going to share my screen. And as Ben said, the exercise file, if you want to follow along, you're more than welcome to. Just click the link down below. And there we go. I'm going to share my screen.
Joe P. screen joined.
And hopefully everyone can see my screen. And if you're following along, open up the file. We're going to go over to selecting and moving data. All right. Now, I always have issues with this. Selecting data. It's the worst thing to do. I'm talking about this. How many people have ever done this? And don't tell me you haven't. I know you have. How many people have done this?
Every day, Joe.
Oops, right? You're like, oh man, I just gone too far. Well, we're going to stop worrying about that because now I'm going to show you two great ways to select your data. Whether you want to select all your data or just certain pieces of it, there's actually keyboard shortcuts to help you. So let's take the first one. You want to select all your data right now, including the headers. The headers being these things right here that explain what the data is. So this is all the gross pay, this is all the hourly rate, the hours, and so on and so forth. Well, let's say, for instance, I want to select it all. Well, think about the word all, A for all. You're actually going to use a keyboard shortcut called Control plus A, and I think of A as select all. These are the little things that help me to remember these keyboard shortcuts. So how do we use it? You're going to click anywhere in your data set, anywhere you want. I don't care where you click, and you're going to use Control A. Boom, it selects it all. That's great. But what happens if you don't want to select the headers? What happens if maybe you just want to select one column? Well, let me show you the trick. Let's say I want to select this data, but I don't want to select it with the columns here, or the headers, sorry. So what we'll do is this. I'm going to click into A4, and I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut called Control, Shift, and arrow keys. Now, when I say arrow keys, I mean like the left arrow key, up, down, right. And depending where you are in the data, this will help you a lot. So watch this. I'm in A4, and I'm going to use Control, Shift. I want to go to the right. I'm going to click Control, Shift, right arrow key, and it selects all the data to the next empty cell. Once I'm here, I'm going to do Control, Shift, down, and boom.
Joe, I could have used this all day yesterday.
Right? Isn't this great? I always love selecting data like this. So now let's say, for instance, I wanted to select from hours to gross pay only. Well, click on hours, Control, Shift, and then click your right arrow down, and there you go. So it just saves you so much time. You don't have to sit there. If you like the old way of doing it, of course, do it that way. I don't mind. But now what I'm going to show you is something really amazing that not a lot of people know about. Actually, I found this out about a year ago, and I've been doing Excel for a long time. So I'm going to share my trick with you. Let's say that you have data here. Now, I know all of you are so used to using Control-C, Control-V, or you like to cut, copy, and paste. Those are great. But what happens if I told you you don't have to do that ever again? What? What do you mean? I don't have to cut, copy, or paste? No, I don't like doing that. If I wanted to just move from reg at the bottom, these four, I know most of you would do Control-C, right? And then you would come over here, and you would do a Control-V or something else, maybe a Control-X or a Control-V. I get it. I love those commands too. But let me show you something cool. Ready? If you select, right, and you can use my little trick, Control-Shift to right, down. If you notice my white cross-haired cursor here, see it moving around? If you hover over the border, the green border of all the selected cells, it changes to a pointer with 4 arrows. I think of those 4 arrows as like a compass. You're trying to move somewhere. You're trying to go in some sort of direction. Once you have your cursor changed like that, you can just click and drag it wherever you want. Boom. No longer do you have to Control X or cut and paste. Now you just move it wherever I want, like that. Boom. Okay. But what happens if you want to make a copy? You don't want to just move it, you want to actually create copies of it. Well, to do that, you're going to do the same exact move, but this time you're going to hold down the control key on your keyboard and move it. Boom. And I can create as many copies as I want. Boom. How cool is that? Boom. Now you might have known those, but I'm going to show you something that you might not have known. So I'm just going to hit Control Z on my keyboard to undo things. The last thing I want to show you when it comes to actually using this feature like moving or copying is being able to actually move things in a list. I know that people get frustrated on this all the time. See, if I was to tell you that I wanted to move, let's say I want to move Amy right here, Amy Tooley, and I want to move her between Paul and Jane, I know what you would do. I can already predict what you would do. You'd probably go here, right click and insert an empty row and then move her, right? Don't do that. I'm going to select Amy. I'm going to use the same move technique, and I'm going to put her between Jane and Paul. Now, if you just do it normally, it'll say, Joe, there's data here. Don't do that. There's already data here. Do you want to replace it? No, I don't. But if you do that move technique and you hold the shift key, watch how cool this is, ready? And I go between Jane and Paul while holding the shift key, boom. Amy now shifts to a different position. I just found that out a year ago, and it saves me so much time. So if you have a list of data and you need to just move an item or move an entire row, you can do so without having to insert an empty or a blank row, and you can just simply move it. Once again, if I want to move Amy back down, I can hold the shift key and then just simply use my move. And there we go. Boom. So pretty cool that we have those options to do this. So, there we go. Let me know in the chat box, by the way, or down below, if that was really cool, if you actually are going to use that, if you knew about that, if you actually knew about switching out between a list of data, let me know, because that was huge for me. My mind was blown. Okay. With that said, let's actually move on to our next topic, which is table benefits. You see, a lot of people are dealing with a lot of data. And when they're dealing with this data, you'll notice that there's some, problems. Like maybe, for instance, let me know if you've ever done this. You're looking through this large data set, right? And you're scrolling down, and you're like, wait a second, what is this number? Oh, it's the sales stuff. Wait, what are these numbers? Oh, it's the units. Yeah, of course. Oops. Right?
Talking to you yesterday. You're going to show me something that's going to save me hours yesterday.
I promise you, this is going to be so cool. So let me explain the 4 benefits of a table. The first benefit of a table is banded rows and columns. And what that does is it allows you to read your data better. The second best thing about a table is that it has filters right on there right away. So you can start filtering and sorting your data immediately. The third thing is that it keeps the headers. So you don't have to worry about going down and going back up. What is this? Going down and going back up. And the fourth thing is the totals row, which I'll show you how much fun it could be. So the first thing we're going to do is select all our data. And I expect all of you to use that new tip and trick I gave you before. Click anywhere in the middle, Control A to select all your data. And now we're going to use Control T to actually turn it into a table. T for table. Now it's okay if you don't want to remember Control T, don't. Go to the Insert tab and click Table. So either way that you would like to do this, you don't have to know these keyboard shortcuts. You're probably wondering, oh, how did you learn all these? Well, I'm a genius. No, I'm just kidding. All I do is hover over, and you'll notice it tells you when you hover over, it says Control T in parentheses there. That's how I learn these. I just hover over certain things like B, here for bold, Control B, Control I. So that's how I know them, all right? So I'm gonna click Table. It's gonna say, you wanna create this table? Where's your data? I already selected it, don't worry about that. Does your table have headers? Well, yeah, they're right here. So I know that my table has headers, so I'm going to make sure that's checked marked on and then click OK. Give that a click. Boom, it's a table. So the first benefit is those banded rows. You see those right here? You can see that they're a little variation in color each row. So it helps you to see data better. A lot better than when we click on our design tab and we turn them off. Well, it's just, I don't know, it's not visually pleasing to me, so I like to keep them on. You can also turn on banded columns here as well in the design tab once you click on your table. If you're not on the table, well, you don't get those tools. It's kind of like being a construction worker. If you're not working on the project, well, you don't need the tools. But if I click on the table, I'm working on it, I get those tools. So I can use banded columns. I can use banded rows and columns, which just looks weird, so don't do it. And I can unclick banded columns. So that's the first benefit. The second benefit is you can automatically see the filters on here, and you can start to sort and filter this data immediately. And if you want to know more about sorting and filter, feel free to take our online trainings. We do have them on our channel. They're really great, and you'll be able to learn a lot of data analysis there. Now, the third thing, if you remember, Ben said he was having trouble with this yesterday, and I know a lot of people do. When you scroll down, I want you to watch how cool this is. Ready? Look at my A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Watch what happens when I scroll. Whoa. What is this number? Oh, it's sales. What is this? Oh, it's units. It actually changes your columns to your headers. Awesome. Boom. Now, the third benefit, or the fourth benefit, and my favorite benefit, is the total row. You can turn on the total row by clicking this box under the design tab. And a lot of people are like, okay, that's cool. But they don't know how beneficial the total row is and all the features of it. It doesn't only give you a total of the last column. You can click on any of these and add whatever you want. Maybe I want the sum of the sales. I'm going to make that a little bigger. Never be afraid of the pound signs. It just means that your number can't fit in the cell.
Joe,
Maybe I want the minimum number of cells.
Joe, you're blowing my mind every time. Like, these are all things that I use Excel every day, and like just this you know, being able to manipulate the totals in different ways. Like before, I would just do the whole column as one, you know, one formula, and now just seeing this, and you know, like just seeing years of my life wasted doing it the wrong way.
I always do that too. I'm kind of like, I learned something new about Excel, and I'm like, wait a second. I definitely put too many years of my life into this when I could have been doing this. I'm glad, though. I hope everyone's feeling this way out there. I hope that everyone's going to think, I know these aren't the biggest tips and tricks. They're the small little ones, but they will save you so much time, I promise. You can even, you know what's funny? A lot of people have missing data. Like, let's say, for instance, we were missing Bishop, and it was all the way up here. We didn't know that. We'll just pretend. Well, you can also, even though it's not a number, don't think you can't total it. You can count how many entries are in each cell by using count. So I can do the counts here. Okay, I have 164, 164, 163. Wait a second, that doesn't make sense. I'm missing a piece of data. And you can quickly now see, oh, you know what? I must have missed Bishop's cell. Oops, I better put Bishop in. And then it will update it. So these totals aren't just to look at a number. You can actually use them to, you know, check if there's missing data in these columns. But with that said, I mean, that's just great right there. That's some of our table benefits. But let's keep going. You know what? I have so many tips and tricks for you. Let's go over to repeating data. What do you think, Ben?
Repeating. Oh, I was just gonna say, every single tip you're showing me today, man, is something that like I could have used yesterday, like, or even like I'm already thinking of 1,000 instances where I could have been using this because of how many times I work with a table and everything like that, just doing data entry over here. So it's you're saving me time right now, and I watch all the videos before I post them too. So I'm learning.
There we go. See, that's what I like to hear. It's kind of like the inside like scoop on some of the things I discovered, and I just discovered them because I play around with Excel too much. I'm not going to admit how much on my off time that I'm in Excel, just for fun. Like it's sad. It's where's my life? I don't know. So let's just keep going
All
on
right.
that one. Wow. So we're gonna go on repeating data now. This one's really cool. I enjoy this one a lot. Let's say, for instance, that I have this pair company employee master list here, and I have all my locations in, but for some reason it didn't pull over all my building 3 locations. So all of these empty cells are supposed to be building 3. Well, that's okay, because I know what you're going to do. You're going to click here, and you're going to do building 3, and then you're going to copy and paste all the way down. I'm telling you not to do that. Watch how cool this is, right? The first thing you're going to do is select where you want to put building 3. I want to put it here. I'm going to hold the control key on my keyboard and select here, 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 all the places I'm putting building 3. And I'm doing this, I'm actually selecting multiple cells at once to put building 3 in. And once again, all I did was I select here, then I hold the control key down the whole time, select here, still holding the control key, here, 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 and here. Now at this point in time, what I do is I write the first example of what I want, which is building 3. I'm going to write building 3. When you write building 3, after you write building 3, do not press enter. You are going to press control enter. It's the old school way of doing things. If you were back in the 80s, it was control enter. Now it's not. So hold down the control key and press enter. Look at that. You have just filled out all the missing data with building 3. Okay. So once again, to do this, I can click here, hold down the control key, click here, here, here. Let's do here, 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 and let's do yeah, like a checkered board. All right. I'm gonna write my name, Joe. Hold down the control key and press enter. How cool is that, right? So if it's the same data that you have to like write multiple times throughout the sheet, just hold down just click where you need to put it, and then hold control enter to enter it in. Let's keep going though, because we're running on time. So we're gonna go on our flash fill real quick. And don't forget, this is recorded, so feel free afterwards if it's a faster pace for you, because we only have 30 minutes. That's okay. Just look back at the recording later on.
Yeah, and then just a reminder, you can slow it down or speed it up on the play settings on YouTube. So if we're talking too fast or anything like that, or maybe going too slow, you can speed that up there as well.
Yeah, great point. So the next thing we're going to talk about is flash fill. All it does is it follows a series of patterns, and you set up the first pattern. Now, I know you all probably have used concatenate and text to columns, and if you haven't, that's okay, because either way, you're never going to use them again. Let me show you. I have this data set here, and what happened was it has the first name in one column and the last name in another column, and my boss says to me, Joe, that's not how we do things here. I want it all in one column. And he says, fill it out. And I'm like, can I have a bonus? And he says, no. So I got to do it anyway. So, I mean, it is what it is. So I go into full name. I start with the first example here. The full name is Kara Wilson. Now, at this moment, all I simply do is press enter. And now I'm going to type in the first character of the next entry, which is an A for Anthony. And you will see, press enter, boom, done. Now, this is what's known as auto flash fill. And this was released in 2016 of Excel, only for people that have 2016 and only for PC users. If you are a Mac user, you can't do it this way. But there's good news. You can still do it. Don't worry. You can still do this. You just can't do it the way I just showed you, where you put in the first, you press enter, you put in the second, and it automatically does it. I'm going to now show you how to actually do flash fill for MacBook and for anyone that has anything less than 2016 version of Excel. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to put in the first name, Sarah Olson. But this time for you, for my Mac users and anyone less than 2016, you're going to go to the Data tab, And you're going to select from the data tab in our data tools command group. You'll notice there's like this little lightning bolt, kind of reminds me of Harry Potter. You'll remember that forever now, I promise. You got to make that relationship. You'll be like, oh, Joe said Harry Potter.
I can't unsee that.
Exactly. So that lightning bolt, you're going to give it a click. And when you give that a click, boom, it happens. So for Mac users and for anyone less than 2016, use that button. For everyone else that has PC and they're on 2016 or up, then you can use the auto. Now, we don't only have to concatenate or combine things together. We can also pull information. You remember text to column? Oh, I know you remember text to column because it's right there. And when you click it, it opens up the wizard. And once again, I'm not talking about Harry Potter. Okay? So convert to columns wizard, step 1 through 3. You have to go through all the steps. No, forget that. What is the city? Boulder. Press enter. What is the city? Salem. Press enter. I'm done. What is the state? Colorado. What is the state? Oregon. I'm done. Okay, I'll click. No more text to columns, delimiters, and this and that. Forget all about that. So this is one of my favorite things to do, all right, is to use this flash fill to pull things over. With that said, we are going to work on our last topic real quick, which is drop-down lists before we have to go. And I just have some simple data here. It's called customer information. And have you ever sent something out to a customer and they do something like this, right? They fill out their name. Oh, this is my name. This is my address. And this is today's date. Cool. Okay, I'm doing good so far. Who did I talk to? My sales rep. Oh yeah, I talked to Jake from State Farm. No, I'm just kidding. But I talked to Jake. Jake was great. The problem is there is no Jake at our company. They probably meant Jack. So that happens. You know, like they don't remember, or you can't force them to remember that. But what you can do is you can force them to choose from a list of data. So I'm going to explain. It's called data validation, which means I'm going to validate what they put in here. So I'm going to force them to pick from a list of data. To do that, there's 2 ways to do it. The first way is to click into A12, go to our data tab, since we're talking about data, and in our data tab, right in the same group where we found our flash fill and our text to columns, you're going to notice that there's this icon here that says data validation. That's a check mark and then a deny sign. And if you give that a click, it's going to say that right now in A12, anything's allowed in there, whether it's a calculation, a formula, or even just, you know, the word hello. You can put anything in there. I'm going to say, nope, I don't want that. I want a list in there. And at this moment, I can either type in a list, and I could say anything. I could say yes, dog, hello. I can write anything I want in there and just separate each one by a comma. And when I click OK, now there's a drop down that says yes, dog, and hello. So that's one way of doing it, to manually enter the names in. But who wants to sit here all day and write all these salespersons' names in there? Not me. So what else you can do is, if you already have it somewhere, you can click into source, select these names. So from C6 all the way through C9, click OK. And now they have to choose from a list of data. And you can do that in any cell you want. So go ahead, make some lists all day. And I could say, who was my cell? Oh yeah, Jack, I remember Jack.
Just a follow-up question, Joe, on this one. Can I make a separate sheet and have it referenced from another sheet to this?
You are more than welcome to. Watch this. Yep, you are more than welcome to. Let's actually do that real quick, just so you have it. Okay, great question, by the way. Awesome. So let's say, for instance, that right here, I'm going to click on, and now look where it's referencing, sheet 1. And it's referencing that A2 through A5 on sheet 1. So you're more than welcome to have the data somewhere else and reference that. Great question. with that said, I think that's time for me. I hope you really enjoyed this episode. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here so that we can see my face. Well, you probably saw my face the whole time, but whatever. So yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this today. I know that we have some giveaways, so I'm going to turn that over to Ben to explain what we're giving away this week and what we're going to talk about next week.
Yeah. So for the giveaway this week is actually 3 days of Excel training, live Excel training, online from here in San Francisco. You'll be in there with like 20 other students. You can ask your questions, get your, what you'll have exercises, and it's all live from, let's see, what time we go? 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time. Just in the comments, we're going to, again, select a random comment. So leave a comment below. And then when we do reach out to you, please let us know how we can contact you. We did have somebody win last time that, didn't reply back to how to connect to them. But, this is a $780 value. We sell these, or $790 value. We sell these for $290 per day. So, it's quite a good giveaway. But anyways, just leave a comment down there. Also, like and subscribe our channel. It really helps. Every single subscribe is a huge, huge help to us. And we love bringing you guys these videos. And the more that we get, the more of these types of videos we can bring to you. Also, just a quick update on the channel itself. We will have some more software training videos upcoming. They're all just in editing right now. So look forward to more videos, especially this Friday. And then tomorrow, we do have our other live event with Offsite. They'll be running their live event from 8:30 to 9:30 tomorrow. You may or may not see me there, but I'll be behind the scenes running the show there as well. All right. Anything else, Joe? Oh, and then next week's topic, also leave any questions you want answered for Excel or any other Office application. If you have a question about Word or PowerPoint or anything like that, leave your questions in the comments, and we'll cull those together and make a show out of that next week to answer all your guys' burning questions on any Microsoft Office application. Some of them obviously we won't be able to get to, like Azure and stuff like that. It's a little bit beyond our knowledge, but feel free to drop them in there as well. We might be able to get them answered by somebody else. So yeah, that's it. And I look forward to seeing everyone next week.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you all, and we'll see you for episode 3. All right. Make sure you like and subscribe. All right, I'll see you guys next week.